we might have witnessed one of the greatest transfer Ajax I remember in football, because like just a day we almost had assurance that Eze will go to Spurs, and an hour later we saw that also reopened talks with Sao Paulo, and just 1 or 2 hours later we saw that Eze was almost guaranteed to go to Arsenal. So it's kind of an alternate around from Eze going to Spurs to Arsenal. Obviously, first of all, means a very big loss for Spurs. Obviously, getting Eze in is going to be very big for them, especially because losing Madison to a ACL injury is not going to be out for the whole season. And getting Eze in as a replacement would be amazing. Also, just to add immense quality to the team. But now Arsenal have finally found themselves with ultimately the key piece or the missing piece to what they're trying to do this year and what will the older squad is, and trying to fix that. But there've been a lot of questions about how Eze fit into this Arsenal team. What will his role be? Will be a starter? Will be a bench? And now does this mean for Arsenal's wanting to win Premier League title, wanting to win a trophy? What does this mean for our expectations of Arsenal this year? So I've seen some lineups that fans made. I saw two that actually had Eze midfield. I saw one where they had Mendy as a Noldegaard, and saw another one that had Mendy as and Rice. I mean, obviously, I don't think that none of those three midfielders, Mendy, Rice, and Noldegaard, could be taken for starting 11. I think all three of them are amazing players, and I don't really think Arteta wants to take one of them for starting 11. I don't think it would make sense to take Declan Rice out. I think it would make sense to take Odegaard, who is our captain, by the way, out as well for the team. So I don't really think Eze will play the midfield as a starter. Obviously, there are some games where he might be playing there because maybe Rice is injured or suspended or something happens to Odegaard. Because I don't really have the right other replacements. Once Vieira is there, we might be leaving until September, which means Eze, if there's any need to replace Odegaard at midfield, Eze might be the right replacement for Odegaard. But as a starter and in terms of the games, I really expect Eze to play as a left winger, which is maybe the best case scenario for Arsenal, because what we're talking about till summer, at least like the last 3 to 4 weeks since they signed Gyökeres, was this in the left wing. After the preseason finalists, I think became more evident even after these weekends. As the left wing is a bit non-existent, I'll say. Martinelli is good, Trossard is good, but none of those are like really great or really good at all. And on the wedge, it's going to be the truest option to come off the bench, a left winger, and I don't think he's really that great at left wing either. I saw also a new report that in the opening training session at Emirates, that Arteta had Saka playing left wing and Madueke on right wing. I don't know if that's really something that Arteta is planning to do this year. I don't know. But for now, the team will have any left wing there. And that's really good, or really adds the quality to play for a team like Arsenal wants to win trophies. And Eze is probably the first guy that seemed like, 3-4 years that's come to Arsenal as a left winger. And he's there to have Premier League winner quality. He's a player that's very much going to be able to help you win Premier League. And obviously that's something I've been saying also the past week or two, that their biggest role right now is left wing. In their front four, they have Gyökeres, they have Saka, you can also include all of the front four, but left wing obviously either Martinelli or Trossard. It kind of seem like that Dragon meme, when you have two dragons and like the third one kind of being worse than the other ones. It feel like that meme because Martinelli and Trossard was a big drop off in quality to both Gyökeres and Saka in that front three. So bringing Eze in obviously complements that front three. I think actually it complements a lot Gyökeres very well, because Gyökeres is a guy that likes to kind of run more from the left flank and make some more wide positions there. Eze is a guy that first of all is great in transition, which also complements Gyökeres a lot. He's going to be able to play that pass in behind defense for Gyökeres, also running behind the defense for Gyökeres to assist with the they can play. Also, Eze is a guy that even playing off the left likes to play a lot centrally and inside zones there, which allows Gyökeres to run out of the space that Eze on a drop, which is something with Martinelli. It's like a guy that's more of a wide winger, more of a guy who can earn touchline more. Maybe that's something that Gyökeres didn't have those spaces to run into when now Eze is going to have to. So it's two things that Eze will contribute. Firstly, just obviously filling that large hole in their attack, and second, just really complementing Gyökeres very well. One thing I do not like about Eze in this kind of system is that also don't really have a guy that is amazing of beating low blocks, of beating 1v1 players. Obviously, Eze is a great creator, but not a guy that can give a lot of width to try defenses. He's a guy that can play more centrally. Not a guy that even at dribbling is amazing. Martinelli is a guy that even he has a lot of pace. That's a 1v1 dribbling. Not a guy that's not a guy that one or two defenders out of his way easily. So Arsenal against low blocks, they struggled a lot in the past few years. The biggest weaknesses for this team and this system. They don't really have a lot of players or non-players that can really kind of just break those low blocks in terms of winger play, in terms of being able to dribble their own box, beating those defenders. Even Gyökeres is a guy that doesn't really have the biggest inside the box presence. It's a guy that even if you seem like a bit strong and a bit tall, it's a guy that doesn't really use his head a lot and uses it fantastically. So that's not going to be a guy that can cross the ball in constantly and score goals from there. So Arsenal's team is still going to struggle a lot against low blocks. And Arteta is able to find a solution around that. Maybe that's a solution, but for right now, I actually don't see some players that can be able to help them a lot in the low blocks. So that's a situation where maybe Arteta still needs to find another solution. Now, also why this is potentially so good for Arsenal is because we saw the news that Havertz is going to get injured, now a knee injury. That I'm going to assume, I'm going to predict it's going to be out for a few months, otherwise they'll not have the urgency to try and bring SA in. They have Real Sush currently dealing with ACL injury, probably for the next off season. Havertz will probably be maybe 3 to 4 months, just kind of enjoy out there, guys. It's probably going to be for that range of time. And with him gone, on obviously losing right number 9, you have Gyökeres, maybe Real Sush, and Havertz will be able to play there. Those two guys are not able to play right now. So kind of the direct replacement to those two will be Trossard, who's not the left winger, but plays a striker a lot of times at Arsenal, and now he's the back number 9 for Gyökeres. So obviously now you can lose another left winger. You have Martinelli, maybe Madueke is playing occasionally there. So bringing SA in also helps improve the depth of the left winger. Also because it's a versatile player, it can also add in one more option in terms of creating midfielders in the midfield. Because I also think that's something that Arsenal didn't really have before in terms of squad depth. They didn't really have a guy that's able to complement to bring in for Odegaard and be able to ring what Odegaard brings to the football pitch off the bench. So again, I really like that with SA rings in terms of versatility, in terms of creativity, in terms of complementing Gyökeres and other players. I don't really like what the situation is in terms of playing against low blocks. I also really like the transfer for the need of bringing in terms of squad depth and squad building. Now the question is, what does him going to Arsenal mean for Arsenal and expectations for them this season? But I think it's very clear that we've seen Arsenal take a long approach this summer. They haven't really gone for like any really big names, like Liverpool has gone for like Florian Wirtz, for example, or trying to go for also for Isaac. Also, hasn't really gone for any of those like very big superstars, like established superstars. Also, Gyökeres is a big move. We see guys coming off to Portugal. Not really an established superstar like Isaac is or Wirtz is. And but they've still gone with a very much all-in approach. They've spent a lot of money this summer while not losing a lot of key players for a lot of money. I don't think they've sold that much money in terms of players. So they've spent a lot of money this summer. They brought in, I think the player Arteta wanted. They finally brought in number 9. They finally brought in some very good squad depth in all the parts of the squad. So I think the main excuses for Arteta in the last couple of years are not gone. Last year I said that Arteta should give him a pass because of the injuries he had. They had a lot of injuries last year, especially in the attack. He had played Molina, SMH number 9. He had played Rodri a lot, Madueke not a lot. But now, with proper squad depth, with a proper attacking players also in their options, the injury shouldn't be that much of a worry for Arteta. Obviously, Saka is unassailable because he's the best player by a mile. And if you lose him, obviously your team is going to be able to play at highest level without the other best player. So, but still, the excuses of your form dropping that much without with all those injuries now kind of gets reduced a bit down. And again, it also increases the pressure that Arteta needs to win. If we are not somewhere where Arsenal spends so much money, brings the players for you in all departments, in all terms of qualities and positions. So I really think this is going to be like the final year that Arteta needs to win some trophies, because otherwise it should be fired. And do I think if they're going to win trophies next year or this season? I definitely think so. I think that they have to squad to win Premier League, also win USL if they make an easy run or if they have some easy opponents, but they also have a squad. I mean, they won semi-finals last year. They have a perfectly good squad that could go on to the final, win it all. They also have a perfectly good squad that should be winning at least one of the Carabao Cup or FA Cup. Also depends a lot on injuries. We're going to probably see, if nothing goes wrong in terms of squad and injuries and obviously all of that, I think we're going to see a year where it's going to be a lot about Arteta, how our Arsenal squad is built for the big moments, and how they built to live the pressure. I think it's going to be like a very key year for Arsenal. I'm excited to see what Arsenal can do this year, because they have maybe the most pressure to Man City and Liverpool. Liverpool already won Liverpool won the title last year. They are good. City, I mean, they're going through a rebuild mode. They don't need to win right now. So out of these three in Premier League, also that's the team who has the biggest pressure to now succeed and now to win some trophies.